So who are you?
I'm Jordon Goldman. I'm the CEO and founder of Unigo.com.
Unigo?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you spell that? Just so people.
Unigo.
Yep. And what is that? First of all, just real brief.
Right now, it's one of the world's largest resources for college info. For the top 250 colleges in the country, we got more than 35,000 reviews and photos and videos. So if you're looking for college info, it's a free, enormous student-created database.
Yeah, and we're here in a hotel in New York, so it might get a little noisy, but that's fun. And who are you?
I'm Barry Goldberg, the CTO of Unigo.com.
Awesome. And so you were just telling me how you got into this. So you continue the story.
Just that I started doing a series of college guidebooks called Students' Guide to Colleges that came out every year from Penguin Books.
Yeah.
And we were in stealth mode for 9 months before we launched. So what we did was we had a full-time 18-person editorial team, and we decided we'd cover the top 250 colleges in the country. So we hired an unpaid intern on every single campus. We hired more than 300 interns in all. We gave them all flip video cameras.
Yep.
And for the next 5 months, we kind of ran it like a political campaign. We said we wanted not only a volume of students, but students from every class year, major, extracurricular, political affiliation, race, gender, ethnicity. And without the school knowing what we were doing or the press, we got more than 15,000 students to create more than 35,000 reviews and photos and videos. And then you can sub-search on the site. So if we have, for example, 200 reviews of Princeton, you can say only show me reviews written by English majors or by African American students. So you could see what each school is like from the perspective of someone just like you. And at most of the schools, we got between 5 and 10% of the entire student body to create some kind of content without the school having any idea we were doing it.
How did you do that? I mean, were you on Facebook and MySpace all the time, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially like we used the schools thought that we couldn't get to the students without going through them, and we said, look, we have the tools of technology now. We have social media, we have email, we can do outreach. We don't need to go through anymore. And with 4 or 5 months devoted to all of these different campuses, we're able to get to enormous amounts of students, kind of under everyone's noses.
Very cool.
So
tell me a little bit about what you find on the site.
Well, this is our homepage.
Yep.
Let's say you want to know about Princeton University. Just put in Princeton.
So and this is probably a good place for parents to come to too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I have some high school friends and family members who are in high school looking for colleges, and the parents are playing a key role in that part.
Yeah, it's such a hard and annoying decision.
Yeah.
So we have, our editors went through every piece of content on the site. So for Princeton, we have 91 original reviews, 175 photos, 182 original videos, and 12 documents, all completely created by students.
Yeah.
Our editors went through everything. So what you have here are 4 pages of kind of long-form summary information, everything you want to know, this big overview. And our summary, when we use student quotes, they're not taken out of context, they hyperlink.
Yeah.
So if you click through, you can see everything that this student wrote.
Sort of like a blog style thing, or?
Yeah, like these reviews are like long-form, detailed reviews, so they're not short.
Yeah.
And you could see that this review is written by Mackenzie, who's a classical studies major. She's female, she's white, she's center-leaning. If you decide you want to see reviews of the school from another perspective, you can go into student reviews. You can say, I only want to see what Princeton is like from the perspectives of an African-American student. You can filter.
Oh, that's really cool.
And then you have a bunch of different reviews from African-American students, and you can see, do they like the school? Do they have issues with it? You could search within a school or across all colleges by this wide range of criteria. And then we have videos, which are just actual Princeton students with a webcam that we sent them, talking about...
You gotta filter.
That's what we did.
Talking about and showing you around the campus. And
Everything from, this is why I chose to come here, to talking about the stereotypes. We have someone who's an official tour guide giving a campus tour, and then someone who's an unofficial tour guide telling you what you're not going to see on the tour. All the
where
things
the
that
cool
get left
pubs
out.
are.
Yeah, literally being like, this is where we get stoned in the corner. This is where, because our job isn't really to filter things. We had this editorial team to make sure the information is accurate and representative, but we don't want to only show you kind of the nice things that the college is going to show you. We want to show you every single aspect.
Yeah.
So like here's a couple jocks at Wesleyan where I went, talking about what it's like to be a jock at that school and that they have real issues with it, that it's kind of a hippie lefty school, and then the jocks don't get a lot of respect. And it's the sort of thing you're not going to see otherwise. So we really figure for a $200,000 decision, if you're a college student, if you love your school, there's nowhere to talk about it. And if you have issues with your school, you can protest in front of the library, but what's that really going to do?
Yeah.
You can come on Unigo, you can show everyone what it's actually like, kind of have this community where all the students are creating content, and then for the 60 million high school students and parents who are trying to make this decision, it's the best resource out there.
Very cool. So this helps you pick your college. Do you have any information on scholarships up there at all? Because I know that that's really it, especially this year.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of parents don't have the money anymore that they used to have, and they're looking for scholarships and ways to fund their kids going to college.
That's the great thing about it. We have this 18-person editorial team, so we have articles where normally you'd have to buy a book on every aspect of applying to college or college life or financing college. Yeah. We have more than 500 articles that we wrote that are all free on the site. So if you need any of that information, it's all there. And we also put out a call to students saying, the economy's really bad. How can you save money? How can you figure out the financial aid process? And students sent us in hundreds and hundreds of videos. So we had that kind of real-time contact. These college guidebooks, they're fully updated once every 5 years.
Yeah.
So we said, you know what, we need real time. Like, here's the budget students guide that we put together.
Yeah.
So this stuff is always kind of accommodating current realities.
Yeah.
Which is really useful.
How do you guys make money?
We do it through a mix of advertising and lead generation.
Okay.
With the advertising, there's a giant audience. They're making.
Right there, yes.
Yep.
Tell me about the lead generator, because ad stuff I understand. I think people understand pretty easily. But how do you guys make money with lead generation? That's interesting.
It's just an opt-in process. If a student actively says, you know what, I'm looking for a student loan, I want student loan providers to send me info because I want to see as much info as I can so I can make the best decision. We'll then work with student loan providers to get them that information. Or if they say I'm looking for a credit card, or it just purely on an opt-in basis, but we find that we can give students the information that they want and match them up with vendors that they're looking for.
Or even schools. Like if they're really interested in schools, that's another form of lead generation where the schools, we'll have an agreement with the schools possibly.
Oh, do the schools pay affiliate fees, or if you send somebody to school and they actually sign up there?
Sure.
Awesome. I didn't know that. And how are you guys funded?
We raised a lot of money all through angel investors. I went to Wesleyan University and I graduated in 2004 and had written a business plan and emailed a couple hundred alumni of Wesleyan and said, hey, can I show this to you? Can you help me make it better? And about 50 of them let me take them out to lunch, and the business plan got better and better and better over the course of about a year and a half.
Now that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, because I was an English and creative writing major, so I had this kind of idea and the story behind it, but I didn't really have any background in how to practically implement it.
Yeah.
So these really smart alums said, "Hey, we're gonna help you out," and eventually a couple of them wound up funding us. And some joined our advisory board. The CEO of TiVo, Tom Rogers, he was a Wesleyan alum who's now on our advisory board, who's been really, really helpful. The former president of the National Education Association.
Now, do you cover what kind of potential networks are like that at your school, at your potential school?
Yeah.
It's like join this school and you might get your idea funded.
You can get your site off the ground. No, but we do talk about things like who were the famous alumni? What is that network like? Do people communicate once they graduate? Because this is kind of a lifelong commitment. It's $250,000 in some cases. So you want to make sure, if your family's been saving since you were 2 years old to send you off to college, like Barry has young kids and he said already it's starting, that you make the right decision.
Very cool. Wow. Well, what else do I need to know about the site? And technically, how is it built?
It's Microsoft-based, .NET, SQL Server. It's pretty straightforward as far as technology goes. Yeah.
Very cool. And what kind of adoption are you seeing? What kind of growth path? Are you
really solid? We've only been live now for just over 3.5 months, and we've gotten more than 500,000 uniques, and we've gotten more than 5 million page views. So that's a really great beginning. New York Times Magazine wrote this 7-page article about us right after we launched, which was great and kind of kicked us off.
Now, how did you get that? A lot of entrepreneurs are probably like, how do you get it in the New York Times?
I literally we emailed magazine at newyorktimes.com, and we said, hey, we're doing this thing. The schools don't know we're doing it, but we got tens of thousands of students all over the country to come together because they kind of believe in this project.
Yep.
And New York Times said, yeah, we're interested. And they kind of gave us, they said they wanted total access. So they interviewed me 7 times. They interviewed my mom. They interviewed our employees. They interviewed our board and our investors. And we had no idea what they were going to write. They said, if you want us to do this article, we need complete access.
Yeah.
But in the end, the article came out really well.
Yeah. That's a good lesson for an entrepreneur. Let loose a little bit of control, and
yeah. At one point, he came in and he grabbed 3 of our employees and he said, "I'm taking them to a bar. Jordon, you can't come. Come on, let's go." And we had no idea what they were saying, but it's kind of just one of the things you have to do.
Yeah. Hire smart employees who like you.
Yeah, right.
We learned that at Mike's Lab, right? That's if you're gonna let all your employees blog, you better hire smart employees and make sure that they like you. So
and if you're a college student on the site, you can make a profile, and then you can upload. You can upload reviews, you can upload photos, you can upload videos, you can upload documents, and then documents can be academic writing, creative writing, political writing, and just share that with everybody.
Yeah. Who do you compete with? Are there other sites out there trying to do the same kind of thing?
Well, that's kind of the funny thing. You either have the sites like Princeton Review, where they're in the print guidebook space, and they're written by these journalists and administrators, so they create a really small amount of content, and they can't give away too much for free because then no one will buy their book. So if their book has 2 pages per school, their website has 1 page per school. And then you have the new guys, but they don't have any real experience in the print space. So they open up a platform and they say, review your school, and then they step back. Whereas because I'd done this series of books from Penguin, and I wanted to evolve it, and Penguin was kind of hesitant, so I said, you know what, I'm going to stop doing the books, I'm going to put this all online. We were able to take kind of the rigor and methodology of a print title and put it online. So our editors, before they opened this up to each school, they did 2 months of research on every school. Then they hired an unpaid intern to corroborate the research. They got this diversity of content. They read through all of it, put up these editorial overviews. And because we actively went out to get the content to make sure it was representative, not just happenstance, we actually have more than almost every other website put together. So yeah, it's kind of a new thing in the college space.
Yeah. Since I know my son's in high school, and he says everybody's hanging out on MySpace at his school. Are you guys hanging out on MySpace and figuring out how to talk to that audience? And tell me a little bit about what you're trying to do to get people to come from MySpace over to your site. And
yeah, I mean, we have branded pages on MySpace and Facebook, and we did a deal with YouTube and microsites on myyearbook.com, and we're just trying to have a social media presence all the places where high school students are. Yeah. And also within high schools, there's a college counselor in every single high school in America, but on average there's only 1 counselor to every 500 students, so they're really, really overworked. What they can do with the students is limited. So we're saying to them, hey, work with us, we're totally free, they don't have to spend $20 on this book, and hopefully we're getting more kids to go to college. I mean, one of the things we heard was, you hear names like Harvard or Princeton or Yale, and you figure these like mythical unicorn students, but when you can actually see what a Harvard student looks like when they're giving a video tour and telling you what it's like to go there, it makes people go, oh wow, like this is just a kid, it's just like me, this is something I can shoot for. Or if you're from a family who...
This is our YouTube channel.
Ah, very cool.
If you're from a family where your parents didn't go to college, or some of your classmates didn't go to college,
yep,
this is a way to just log on for free and get involved with the whole process.
Very cool. Well, cool. Thanks for a little look this morning.
Yeah, no, thank you.
A lot of fun. Thank you.